What's up, guys? We're going to start with the coming up section. I suggest you watch it though, because it's just a short one and you'll miss some stuff if you don't watch it. I know it doesn't make sense because it should be coming up, but you'll see what I mean. It's just like little edits and it's just quick. Quick shout out to Sensei Vegan. I appreciate your support a lot, brother, and it's been very timely. Also, something unfortunate's happened to me, and that's why I haven't been uploading daily. And I'll talk about it later in the video. It's something medical related. Alright guys, let's begin. So when you do the math there, when you take that into account, you don't have triple, you've got maybe 4 times, guys. And that's what I believe is the case. You've got 4 times the range on the Sherman to go hard. 4 freaking times, and you've only got double the battery. So it's a huge difference, guys. I can't stress that enough. But here's the other point. I said there was 2 points, didn't I? And this one goes in favor of the King Song, guys. Big time. It's got very low pedals, guys. The pedal clearance on the Sherman it's shit. Is the only way I can put it. It just scrapes like straight away. Like as soon as you lean into a corner, it's scraping. It sucks. I mean, I almost can't stand it anymore. Like riding on the street, when I want to lean hard into a corner, you just can't because it's scraping into the concrete. On the road with the Sherman, those pedals just restrict you like nothing else. It does my head in. I hate it. I keep thinking, I wish those pedals were higher. 50 kilometers an hour, which is fast enough for like most of the roads out here in the suburbs. When you're on this thing, it's still like, compared to a one wheel, you're freaking Iron Man. You know how this thing does, right? You can't turn the volume down. It's just full blast all the way. It's so loud that you can hear it at top speed. Like you're going 30 miles an hour with the wind in your face, your helmet on, and you can just hear, please decelerate, like perfectly clearly. It's insane. And yet when you have music running, you can't really hear it. Like they've got that please decelerate just like tuned in perfectly.
Please decelerate, decelerate.
And that's it. To summarize, the Sherman's battery brings like, it gives you 4 times more fun basically. But this thing lets you do corners properly. And the Sherman doesn't. It simply doesn't. It's garbage at it. It's like a garbage truck. It's like trying to drive a garbage truck on an F1 track. You know, it just ain't gonna work. And that's what the Sherman is. Out here with the 16X. And the carrot juice. First time with a 16X and a carrot juice. 2 things to talk about, guys. About the 16X versus the Sherman. And it's extra sweet today, that carrot juice. It's like, it tastes like there's sugar in there. I've got 2 interesting points actually, guys. 2 things that I realized now that I didn't realize before. Because now I've had so much like different experience now, going from the 16X to the Sherman, back to the 16X, back to the Sherman, and now back to the 16X. And I'm a more experienced rider now, guys. Like, I can see things now that I didn't used to see. And it's like, not only did I not used to see them, but they didn't even exist in a way. Like, it didn't even have any relevance because of the type of rider I was back then. You know, like when I first started, sort of thing. And I've been riding for like nearly a year and a half. I would say exactly 16 months actually. And I bought this 16X as my first wheel on the 16th of the 7th, 2020. The 16th of the 7th, guys. So yeah, that's how long I've been riding. But yeah, today we're going to talk about... guys, I've got a blocked ear. I woke up with a blocked ear the other day, and that's why I haven't been uploading. It was like completely deaf. I couldn't hear anything, and it's, I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it's kind of scary. Like, you don't know what's going on because, you know, are you ever going to get your hearing back on that side? And everything feels weird, guys. When you've got like half your hearing gone, you just feel like you're in some kind of simulation or something. Like you're not in touch with what's around you, and that's why I haven't been making videos. Like I didn't want to, like I haven't felt right, you know. And I'm just hoping it goes away, guys. It's like I don't normally have any health issues at all, but I've had a blocked ear in the past, like kind of like this, and it lasted 3 days, and then my hearing just came back. So now it's been like nearly 2 days, and yeah, it's kind of scary, guys. You don't like, even when you're talking, like right now when I'm talking, it sounds weird in my head because half my hearing is gone. But on the bright side, guys, an e-skate. I can see, like you won't be able to see it, it's far away. But they're getting more common because I saw one just before, unless it was the same guy. And alright, so what I was going to talk about, and those new pedals didn't fit, guys. Maybe you don't even know what I'm talking about, depending on whether I uploaded the other video, so I won't say anything. Alright, guys, what I was going to talk about is, for one thing, like I said already, if you've been following the channel for the last few videos, I said like, I'm really loving this wheel, this 16X. And in the past, I've said many times that the Sherman makes this thing look like a toy, and I kind of put this thing aside. I didn't really have any desire to ride it. And remember when it broke, like going down the stairs, and then it just didn't work anymore, like fried the electronics. I didn't get it fixed because I had no desire to ride it. It sat there for 6 months with a broken mainboard, and I didn't want to ride it. Yeah, and that's how I felt even after when I did get it fixed. But then recently, I said that this thing is awesome, right? I love the lightweightness of it. It kind of feels like you're free gliding, like you're riding on a cloud, because it's so light. It feels incredibly light. It's actually only like 12 pounds lighter than the Sherman. I checked it. The Sherman is 77 pounds, and this is 65 apparently. I don't know if maybe they got that stat wrong, that specification. Because that doesn't sound right, does it? How can this just be like almost as heavy as the Sherman? So I don't think that's right, but it's not much lighter regardless. And yet, when you're riding it, it feels like half the weight or less. Less, I would say. Like it's not even there. And that's an awesome feeling. That's like, because it still goes freaking fast, even though this thing is like, you know, quite a bit slower than the Sherman, much less powerful, but it's still super powerful. Like, and it goes like, you know, 50 kilometers an hour, which is fast enough for like most of the roads out here in the suburbs. When you're on this thing, it's still like, compared to a one wheel, you're freaking Iron Man. So it's got like, still got a lot of power, guys. And when you've got all that power with such a light package, it's like another dimension. Now I've found some other things that I didn't realize, right? And it's to do with the range. When like, for example, just today, I was riding, I did all these errands. Not many, actually, like, not today, sorry, yesterday. I just did my shopping today, like, not long ago, but on this thing. Yesterday, I did, like, a few little shopping runs. Like, I had to get some food, and then I had to get, like, just some bedding stuff, you know, like a mattress cover. And it was just 2 trips, right? So, and not long ones either, like kind of long, but not really. Like 5 miles that way, then back, then 5 miles out that way and back. Pretty much. Maybe a bit more on the second trip. Maybe the second trip was like, say, 8 miles. And on the way back, it was saying, please decelerate, please decelerate. Like, it was screaming. You know how this thing does, right? You can't turn the volume down. It's just full blast all the way. It's so loud that you can hear it at top speed. Like, you're going 30 miles an hour with the wind in your face, your helmet on, and you can just hear, please decelerate, like, perfectly clearly. It's insane. And yet, when you have music running, you can't really hear it. Like, they've got that please decelerate just, like, tuned in perfectly. It sucks, doesn't it? Because, guys, 50 kilometers an hour is not that fast once you're experienced. Like, when you're experienced, you just want to cruise at that speed, like, minimum. And when it's saying, please decelerate, it's like, oh my God. It says this please decelerate crap around 50% battery. And for a good reason. Because it's only got half the battery compared to the Sherman. It's got 1,600 watt hours. It's got 1,584, I believe. But let's just say 1,600. The Sherman's got 3,200. It's got double. And that means a lot of things. It doesn't mean it just has double. It means it's got more headroom at lower voltages. It's like where this thing has to start, you know, panicking at 50% battery, the Sherman need not worry until around 30%, even 25%, because of that extra headroom. Because you've got so many more batteries in parallel. When you have that amp, the current draw, you have less sag per cell. So it doesn't need a worry until it's much lower. So at the same time, you've got double the battery and you've got more of that battery to use up, right? You don't have to worry until 25%. So you've got 75% to just push it, you know, push it hard. As hard as you want, basically, for 75% of the battery. Even at 30%, you can still friggin' gun it, like nearly 70 kilometers an hour, right? Whereas this thing, at 50%, it's already trying to bring you back to 30 kilometers an hour. At 50% battery, yet it's only got half the battery, right? So when you do the math there, the Sherman gives you like double. No, what? Not more than double. Let me just think about this. You got 75% of 3,200 watt hours gives you what? 2,400 watt hours, right? 2,400 watt hours is what the Sherman gives you to just gun it. And then that last 800 watt hours is just to get you home, you know, if you ever need it. If you're ever stuck out there and you dip below 30 or 25%, then you might have to slow down, even not that much. Even below that, you probably can still go like 40 k's an hour easily. I've never actually had to do it, I don't think. Maybe once. But let's think about that. So the Sherman gives you 2400 watt hours to just push it hard. This thing gives you what? It gives you 50% of 1600 watt hours. What's that? It's 1800, isn't it? Sorry, 800. Do you see what I'm doing there? Do you see the math? This thing starts restricting you at 50%, and its battery size is 1600 watt hours. So you've only got 800 watt hours. You've only got 50% of that 1600 to gun it, to go hard. And then you've got to slow it right down. Please decelerate all the way home. 50%, right? It's half your trip. It's crazy how much of a difference it makes. And do the math. It's triple, isn't it? This thing gives you 800 watt hours to gun it. The Sherman gives you 2400. That's triple. So it's got double the battery, but it gives you triple the range to push it, to have fun on it, not to like have to just get home, you know, at all costs. Oh, damn. I was enjoying that, guys. That's so sweet. So do you see that? And that's what I've just, like, I just explained the math there, but just in the last days of writing this thing, that's when it all like hit me, you know, like when I was coming home and I was just screaming. And then I realized, yeah, man, this is a huge difference from the Sherman. Like the Sherman. And not only that, but there's another factor we're not actually considering regarding this whole battery thing. And that's that when you've got a bigger battery, you actually get more amp hours from it at any given current draw. That might be complex, that might sound complicated. Let me explain what I'm saying. Basically, lithium batteries will give you different amounts of energy depending on how fast you're drawing from them. So if you're just going hard the whole time, you're going to get less amp hours from any given battery pack. If you do it really softly, like if you just cruise slowly and just draw very low amps from the battery, it's going to give you more. That's how they work. That's just the chemistry of them. I can't remember. It's some law. I think it's Schmel's law. I don't know. And it's like a linear curve where like the faster you draw the current, the less you get from it. So if you've got less batteries in parallel, you're drawing more current from each cell. And that's what we've got here. And in the Sherman, you've got like 10 in parallel, I believe. This might have like 4 in maybe 5, I don't know. But I think that's what the Sherman is. It's like a 24S10P battery pack. So it's got like 24 in series and then 10 of those bad boys in parallel. It's like 10. So it's got 10. So any current you're drawing from it, let's say 10 amps. Let's say you know, whatever that might, you know, it's probably not much. So you're just pushing it softly. You're drawing 10 amps. You're only drawing 1 amp from each series of cells, right? And when you draw from a series, you're drawing from every single cell in that series. That's how electricity works. So basically they're sharing the load is what's happening. And because they're sharing the load, you get more range. So if you've got double the battery, really you've got more than double. You've got like, say, maybe 2.5 times. So when you do the math there, when you take that into account, you don't have triple, you've got maybe 4 times, guys. And that's what I believe is the case. You've got 4 times the range on the Sherman to go hard. 4 freaking times, and you've only got double the battery. So it's just it's a huge difference, guys. I can't stress that enough. But here's the other point. I said there was 2 points, didn't I? And this one goes in favor of the King song, guys, big time. And it's to do with this street wheel. See the sharp profile on that tire? Whereas the Sherman is very flat. It's basically completely flat. And it's got knobs, of course. And It's got very low pedals, guys. The pedal clearance on the Sherman it's shit, is the only way I can put it. It just scrapes like straight away. Like as soon as you lean into a corner, it's scraping. It sucks. I mean, I almost can't stand it anymore. Like riding on the street, when I want to lean hard into a corner, you just can't, because it's scraping into the concrete. On the road with the Sherman, those pedals just restrict you like nothing else. It does my head in. I hate it. I keep thinking, I wish those pedals were higher. And the knobby tire though is awesome still. I've got no real complaints about that. You know, I'm not saying that flat profile is bad, but there's something about this, guys, having the street tire. Oh, and guys, can you see that rim? My rim is bent there. That's been like that for ages. You can't even notice it really. But anyway, back to the point. This tire is it's a street tire, and it's sharp and it's rounded. Can you see how it's like almost like not a knife's edge, but it's sharp, right? The point of contact when you're riding is very small. Whereas the Sherman, because it's flat, you've got a large kind of contact area with the road. And the difference is when you're doing corners, it's like a combination of this and the higher pedal clearance gives you a way better ride, guys, on the street. Like, even though this thing's slower, I kind of prefer it now when I'm just going around corners. And this is something I didn't realize before. And that's why I was saying, it's like, now that I'm a more experienced rider, I'm noticing these things. Before, I wouldn't have even noticed. Like, I was like, nah, this is like... I mean, that wasn't even a factor, right? It was just the Sherman was better on all counts, right? And that didn't come into play. But now, guys, trust me, it makes such a difference. When I'm leaning on this thing in some corners, I'm leaning so hard. You know, as hard as much as the pedals will allow it, basically. But it's a whole new feeling, guys. And it's to do with that rounded tire too, because when you're leaning that hard, you want that change of slope. Because, you know, as you lean over, then this part is kind of in contact with the road, and you get like a nice feeling of stability and grip on the hard leans. Maybe the knobby tire would be alright still for that, I don't know. But I get a feeling you might get to a limit where those knobs will just like give out and you're just screwed. You know, like on the edge of the knobs, perhaps, I don't know. But the Sherman won't let you lean that hard on the road. Alright guys, we'll end it there. And you probably noticed that this video was like much more cut up than usual. And let me know if you enjoyed that style compared to the, you know, just the one take kind of style. Just so you know, I kind of was debating on whether to upload it as a one take kind of video or just a cut up video, and in the end I did it cut up just because I normally don't do it this way, so I just wanted to do something different. And I might upload the next video as the uncut version. I'll see. If I do, I'll just like put like a warning in there, like maybe you've already seen this, you know, so people don't like get annoyed that they're watching the same thing again. But some people appreciate it, I believe. Like, you know, it's kind of divided between people that prefer the shorter kind of videos. You know, some people told me as well, like they don't have like enough attention span to watch like a 1 hour video or like, you know, really long videos. And they prefer the shorter ones, and they probably like the coming up sections, you know, where I just kind of grind it all down to like the most important parts. But some people prefer the long ones, so yeah, I kind of got to try and decide. But maybe what I'll do is upload both, or maybe I should put them both in one video, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's end it here, and we'll see you back in the next one, guys.